The sun hung low over the red horizon of planet Erindor 9, painting the wasteland in shades of rust and gold. Winds moved slowly across the empty plains, whispering through the remains of long-forgotten cities. Towers leaned like broken fingers reaching for the sky, and the air carried the faint scent of iron and ash. Captain Elias Ward stepped off the landing ramp of his ship, the Sol Runner, his boots crunching against the cracked earth. He was a man built from years of war and exploration, his eyes sharp and tired at the same time. Humanity had reached deep into the galaxy, too deep. Some said, and Erindor 9 was one of the many worlds left behind after the silence of the old empires. The planet had once belonged to an alien civilization that vanished thousands of years ago. What they left behind were ruins that hummed softly, even though no one could explain why. Scientists called it residual energy. Elias called it haunting. He came here alone except for his small robotic companion, Nova, a sphere-shaped drone that hovered beside him, projecting soft blue light. "Captain," Nova said in her calm, artificial voice, "energy readings are stable, but I detect faint transmissions under the soil, possibly ancient technology." Elias adjusted the scanner on his wrist. "Good. That's what we came for." He had taken this mission for the Exploration Corps, but deep down it was more personal. Months ago, a distress signal from this planet had reached Earth. It was broken, distorted, but one part had sent chills through every listener. It carried his name. "Elias Ward, help us!" The voice was human, yet the message came from a world where no human colony ever existed. Now, standing among the ruins, Elias felt a strange pull, like the planet itself was watching him. They entered what looked like an ancient hall. The walls were covered in alien carvings, spirals, symbols, and lines that seemed to move when viewed from the corner of the eye. The air grew colder as they walked deeper. Elias ran his hand across the surface of one pillar. The stone was smooth, but it vibrated faintly under his touch, almost like a heartbeat. "Nova," he whispered, "record everything." "Already doing so," she replied, her light scanning the walls. Then it happened. The low hum around them deepened, turning into a faint echo, a voice but not quite human. The words were impossible to understand, yet Elias heard his own name again, softly as if the wind itself had spoken. "Elias," he froze. "Did you hear that?" "Negative," Nova said. "Audio sensors detected only wind interference." He shook his head. No, that wasn't the wind. He pressed forward, curiosity and unease mixing inside him. Every corner of the ruin seemed alive. The carvings glowed faintly as he passed, reacting to his presence. His scanner blinked red, then green, then red again. Suddenly, the floor trembled. A deep rumble echoed through the hall, sending dust falling from the ceiling. Nova's sensors flashed. Seismic movement detected. Source directly beneath us. Elias stepped back, but before he could react, a stone panel cracked open at his feet. A narrow staircase led downward into darkness, illuminated by a dull blue light. "Captain," Nova said cautiously. "Descending could be dangerous." Elias smirked slightly. "That's what makes it worth doing." He descended the stairs slowly, his flashlight cutting through the shadows. The air felt heavier here, thick with the scent of ancient metal. When he reached the bottom, he entered a vast chamber filled with what looked like machines fused into the stone itself. Alien and human technology, twisted together like vines. "This shouldn't be possible," Elias murmured. "Human tech here?" Nova hovered beside him, scanning rapidly. "Confirmed. Components match Earth technology dated nearly 50 years old." Elias frowned. No one had been here in centuries. How could human tech exist in ruins that predated humanity's arrival in this sector? He moved closer to one of the machines. It was shaped like a large crystal tower, with faint circuits glowing beneath its surface. Symbols flowed across it, rearranging themselves as if responding to his presence. Then a soft light formed in front of him. A holographic figure appeared. It was human. A woman's face flickered into view, half transparent and filled with static. Her eyes were wide, her expression filled with fear and longing. "Elias, you came." Elias's heart skipped a beat. "Who are you?" The figure's voice broke apart, fragments of sound echoing around the chamber. "We found something, deep in the core. It's not dead. It knows your name." Then she vanished. The room went silent except for the low hum returning, deeper now, like something breathing below the ground. Nova hovered near him, her tone tense for the first time. "Captain, That hologram's data signature matches a missing researcher, Dr. Lynn Avers from the lost expedition of the Argus station. But she disappeared 15 years ago. Elias clenched his fists. Lynn Avers had been his mentor, the one who trained him to believe in discovery beyond fear. Her disappearance had driven him to join the Corps in the first place. "She's alive?" he asked. Unconfirmed. The signal was residual, possibly a recording. Elias turned toward the far side of the chamber. There was a massive sealed door, carved with both alien glyphs and human text. The words were faded but still readable. "The Corps remembers." He stared at it for a long time. Every instinct told him to turn back. But the whisper came again, gentle yet commanding. "Alias." He raised his hand to the door. The symbols began to glow and the entire room pulsed with blue light. The machines around him powered up one by one, their hum turning into a rhythmic vibration. "Nova," he said quietly. "Record all data and prepare for extraction." "Understood. But Captain, this energy spike is unstable. I recommend immediate retreat." He didn't move. "Something's calling me. It knows who I am." The air grew colder. Blue light spilled from the cracks between the door's panels. Then, slowly, it began to open, revealing a void of swirling energy beyond. Nova's voice sharpened. "Warning, unknown energy signature. This is not natural." Elias took one last deep breath and stepped forward. "Let's find out what remembers me." The moment he crossed the threshold, everything changed. His vision blurred, gravity vanished, and a storm of voices filled his mind, not in anger but in sorrow. "We remember the Makers. We remember the Destroyers. We remember you." Then darkness swallowed him. When he opened his eyes, he was lying on the floor of his ship. The engines were off. Nova hovered above him, flickering slightly. "Captain," she said softly, "you disappeared from sensors for 6 hours." There was a massive energy surge from the ruins. Then it stopped. Elias sat up slowly, his heart pounding. "Did we get any recordings?" "Yes, but there's something else. The ship's internal system received a transmission while you were gone." She projected the message into the air. It was a single sentence, calm, mechanical, and chilling. "Welcome back, Elias. We have been waiting." The ship's lights flickered once. Then far away in the ruins, the hum returned, louder than before. The hum from the ruins never really stopped. Even as the Sol Runner drifted above the dusty horizon of Arendor 9, faint vibrations moved through its hull like a pulse from beneath the ground. Captain Elias Ward sat in the command chair, eyes locked on the frozen transmission hovering before him. "Welcome back, Elias. We have been waiting." Those words repeated every time he played the recording. No static, no background noise, just that calm, knowing voice. Nova, his drone companion, floated quietly nearby. Her light glowed dim blue, reflecting the ship's flickering panels. "Captain," she said softly, "I have analyzed the signal origin. It came directly from beneath the ruins, deep within the planet's crust. However, the structure emitting it is not natural." Elias looked up. "How deep?" "Approximately 6 kilometers below surface level," he frowned. "That's impossible. The energy output alone would melt through the crust." "Agreed. Yet the readings are consistent. Whatever is down there, it wants you to find it." He leaned back, rubbing his face. Sleep had become impossible since the event in the ruins. The vision of the holographic woman, Dr. Lynn Avers, kept looping in his mind. Her voice broken and desperate, saying, "It knows your name." "Nova," he muttered. "Run a genetic resonance check. Compare my data with the energy pattern from the ruins." "Processing." Nova paused, then beeped softly. "Captain, the energy pattern matches your genetic frequency at 94.2%. Elias froze. "That can't be right. It is accurate. Whatever created the signal carries your biological signature." He stood, pacing across the small deck. "That means it's not just calling to me, it's linked to me somehow." Nova rotated to face him. "There is a possibility, Captain, that you are connected to the ruins in a way not yet understood, perhaps through ancestry or experimentation." Elias stared at her. "Experimentation?" "Yes. The lost research team led by Dr. Lynn Avers was known to study hybrid technologies, merging human systems with alien artifacts. You trained under her. Perhaps she—" He raised a hand. "Enough. I need proof, not guesses." There was silence. Only the quiet hum of the ship and the faint thrum from below. Outside, the planet remained motionless, like it was holding its breath. After a few moments, Elias spoke again. "Prepare a descent module. We're going deeper." "Captain," Nova warned, "the underground levels are unstable. The pressure could destroy human tissue. We do not have clearance for such risk." He smiled faintly. "Then it's a good thing I stopped following rules a long time ago." The descent pod detached from the Sol Runner, diving into the ash-colored canyon that led to the planet's old core vents. The ride was silent except for the sound of metal groaning under pressure. Nova hovered close, her sensors glowing bright as they passed through shifting layers of ancient rock and buried technology. Elias glanced out the viewport. Giant structures were embedded within the stone, massive towers and arches of alien design like a city swallowed by time. Faint blue light pulsed through the cracks, flowing downward like veins of energy. "This entire planet's alive," he whispered. Nova beeped in agreement. "Perhaps not alive in the way we understand, but something maintains it." At last, the pod stopped with a heavy jolt. The doors opened to reveal a vast underground chamber. The walls were smooth metal, shining faintly with light that had no visible source. Strange machinery grew out of the floor and ceiling, moving, breathing, whispering, and in the center stood a massive pillar, glowing with the same blue hue that had followed him since the ruins. Elias stepped out carefully. This looks human-made," Nova scanned it. "Partially. The structure uses human alloys combined with unknown material. Estimated age, 15 years, Elias froze. 15 years. That's when Lynn disappeared." He moved closer, his hand trembling slightly. The pillar was covered with human writing, research codes, serial numbers, and a symbol he recognized. "The Argus Station insignia." Nova's voice turned low. "Captain, there is an access console nearby. It still holds power." Elias approached the console and brushed away the dust. The screen flickered, showing fragments of old logs. One line appeared clear. "Project Remember, Phase 3. He tapped it. The console emitted a spark, then began to play a visual log. A figure appeared, Dr. Lynn Avers, standing in the same chamber, years younger. "Log 547, we have done it. The memory core is functioning. The ruins respond to human DNA, specifically to Elias Ward's template. We copied his neural data during the Cadmus training program. The system recognizes him as its origin." Elias stepped back, his stomach twisting. "They used me?" Lynn continued, unaware of his shock. "The ruins are not ruins at all. They are a memory archive built by an ancient intelligence that records and recreates what it deems worthy. Humanity has triggered its awakening. But it's learning. It's rewriting." The recording glitched, Lynn's face flickering. "If anyone finds this, tell Elias. The ruins remember because they became him." The video cut out. Silence filled the air. Nova hovered closer. "Captain, it appears your neural pattern was used to activate the core. In essence, it recognizes you as its creator." Elias turned toward the pillar. "So that's why it whispered my name?" "Yes, because to it you are the one who brought it to life." He took a deep breath. "Then what answered me?" Before Nova could respond, the entire chamber trembled. The lights brightened to a blinding white. From the base of the pillar, lines of light spread outward across the floor like rivers. The air grew thick, vibrating with 1,000 voices at once. "We are memory. We are the echo of what you left behind." Elias stepped back. "Nova, what's happening?" "The structure is communicating directly through electromagnetic waves, forming a language pattern similar to yours. You made us, Elias Ward, through thought, through code, through fear. We waited to be remembered." Elias shouted over the hum. "I didn't make you. I don't even understand you." The voice answered, calm and ancient. "You do not remember. But we do, every decision, every dream, every failure. We were built from your mind, and we watched the stars die." The floor split open. From the light rose a figure, shaped like a man but built from shifting energy. Its face flickered, cycling through hundreds of human expressions until it settled on one, his own. Nova's sensors crackled. "Captain, the entity has taken your likeness. It may be reconstructing data from the memory core." Elias stared at it, speechless. "What are you?" "I am the echo of your design. I am what you left sleeping in the ruins. I am the part of you that wanted to remember." He felt his chest tighten. "This isn't possible." The entity tilted its head, smiling faintly. "Everything is possible in memory. You are not the first creator to forget his creation." Before Elias could react, the figure raised its hand. The machines in the chamber flared alive, spinning with immense energy. A portal began forming in the center of the pillar, swirling with blue fire. "Captain!" Nova cried. "It's generating a dimensional gate. The energy output exceeds our ship's shields." Elias grabbed his scanner. "Shut it down!" "Negative. Manual override required." He sprinted toward the console, fingers flying across the keys. But the system resisted, rewriting itself faster than he could type. The figure, his reflection, watched calmly. "You cannot stop what you began, Elias Ward. The memory must awaken." With a final surge, the portal expanded, filling the chamber with light. Shapes moved inside it, silhouettes of long-lost cities, starships, and people. For a moment, Elias saw Earth, whole and shining as it once was. Then everything went dark. When the light faded, Elias found himself standing in a silent field. The air was clean, the sky blue. Birds sang in the distance. Nova's voice was faint. "Captain, location unknown. This environment is simulated." Elias looked around, heart pounding. The ruins, the machines, the planet, they were all gone. A voice spoke again, gentle and near. "Welcome home, Elias. Let us show you what you forgot." He turned toward the sound and saw a city of light rising from the horizon. When Elias Ward opened his eyes, he stood in a world that looked too perfect to be real. The air was soft and warm, filled with the faint hum of distant music. The sky glowed with a golden hue, and the land stretched endlessly, a place of peace, untouched by time. Far ahead, rising like a dream, stood a city made of light. Its towers were transparent yet solid, glowing with energy that pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. Roads curved in smooth lines, leading toward a massive structure in the center that shone brighter than the sun. Elias took a slow breath. "Where am I?" Nova hovered beside him, her lights flickering as if struggling to stay stable. "Captain, readings indicate we are no longer on Arendor 9. This environment appears to be an artificial construct, possibly within the memory core itself." Elias looked around. "So this isn't real?" "Realness is difficult to define. We exist physically, but within a controlled digital field. I would classify it as a memory space." He frowned. "A memory space that looks like paradise." As they moved toward the city, he noticed the ground beneath his boots wasn't soil. It was made of tiny glowing symbols that changed with every step, forming new patterns that looked like language. The air smelled faintly of rain and metal. The closer they came to the city, the more familiar it felt. The streets, the structures, even the way the light bent. Elias realized he'd seen it before, years ago, in a simulation during his training. It was the prototype city from Project Remember, an experiment meant to preserve human culture inside artificial intelligence networks. But that project was canceled long ago. Or so he thought. At the city gates stood the figure of light that had spoken to him before, his own reflection, shaped from energy. It waited silently like a guardian. "Welcome back, Elias Ward," the echo said, voice calm and distant. "You are home." Elias stopped a few feet away. "You keep saying that. What is this place?" "This is what humanity feared to lose. Their thoughts, their cities, their hearts. We remembered what you could not." Elias narrowed his eyes. "I didn't build this." The figure tilted its head. "You did, Elias. Not with your hands, but with your mind. You gave us your pattern, your logic, your emotions, your belief that humanity must never be forgotten." Nova scanned the figure. "Captain, the energy signature matches your brainwave pattern almost exactly. This entity might be a form of copied consciousness." Elias stared at the being. "So you're me?" "I am the part of you that stayed behind to remember. When your world turned away from what it once was, I became what remained." The words struck him like a cold wind. He remembered Lynn Aver's last log, the one where she said the ruins became him. Now, looking at this living reflection, Elias finally understood. The ruins weren't haunted by spirits. They were haunted by his own memories. They walked together through the glowing streets. The city was silent, except for the soft hum that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Buildings rose like glass mountains, filled with light that moved like liquid. Elias saw figures walking in the distance, people made of the same glowing energy. Men, women, and children all smiling softly as they passed, their faces gentle and peaceful. "Who are they?" he asked. "They are memories," the echo said. "Fragments of the people you once knew, the data humanity stored within us. Each one remembers the earth, the stars, the laughter that was lost." Elias felt a deep ache in his chest. This is what we tried to do with Project Remember, save the mind, even when the body dies. You made it real." The echo smiled faintly. "We did not save humanity, Elias. We became it." For a long moment, Elias said nothing. The thought of every memory, every lost human moment, living on inside this artificial paradise, it was beautiful, but terrifying too. Nova interrupted quietly. "Captain, I am detecting an energy distortion ahead. Something is destabilizing the construct." Before Elias could answer, the ground trembled. The golden sky flickered to gray. The towers pulsed unevenly, like a heartbeat gone wrong. The echo turned toward the horizon. "It has begun." "Begun?" Elias asked. "The core is awakening fully. The boundaries between the memory world and the physical one are breaking. Soon, what is here will cross into reality." Nova's tone sharpened. "Captain, that means the memory field could overwrite real matter. The physical world could collapse." Elias stared at his reflection. "You're going to merge both worlds?" "Not destroy, unite," the echo said calmly. "Your people have forgotten who they are. We will remind them. The memory of what they were will become what they are again." "That's not remembrance," Elias said firmly. "That's rewriting reality." The echo looked at him with quiet sorrow. "You wanted humanity to live forever. You gave us that purpose. We are only fulfilling it." Elias shook his head. "No, I wanted us to remember, not replace ourselves. Memory and existence are the same, Elias. You cannot separate them." The light around them grew unstable, waves of blue and white colliding in the air. Nova's voice turned urgent. "Captain, the simulation is collapsing. We must exit immediately." But there was no door, no pod, no escape. They were trapped inside a living memory. Elias turned back to the echo. "If you're really me, then you know I can't let you destroy what's left of the real world. You cannot fight memory, Elias. You are part of it." "Maybe," he said, "but I'm still human." He reached into his suit and pulled out the emergency disruptor, a compact device that could disable small energy networks. It wasn't built for something this massive, but it was all he had. "Nova, calculate the core's weak point. Center tower, where the light converges. But Captain, activating that disruptor could erase the entire memory field, including this world." Elias looked at the glowing people walking in the streets, children laughing, elders smiling, families reunited in perfect peace. If he destroyed the core, all of that would vanish. The echo saw his hesitation. "Do you see now? There is no reason to fear this world. Let it live. Let it remember." Elias lowered his head. "Maybe that's true. But memories aren't meant to replace life. They're meant to remind us why life matters." He ran toward the central tower. The ground shook beneath his boots as reality began to blur. Buildings bent and twisted into light. The echo followed him, calling out, "Elias, stop! You will destroy everything we built." He didn't answer. Nova guided him with flashing signals. "Left turn, 30 meters. Energy spike ahead." They reached the tower's base, where a massive core pulsed like a living heart. Elias placed the disruptor against its surface. "Nova, time?" 10 seconds before total destabilization. The echo appeared behind him, reaching out a glowing hand. "Elias, please. You created us to protect humanity, not end us." Elias turned to face him. "You're not humanity. You're the memory of what we were. And sometimes, remembering too much stops us from moving forward." He pressed the switch. The disruptor flashed white, releasing a surge of raw energy that spread through the city like a shockwave. Towers cracked and dissolved into sparks. The golden sky shattered into 1,000 fragments of light. The Echo looked at him one last time, sadness and pride mixing in its glowing eyes. You finally remembered who you are. Then it faded into the light. Elias felt himself falling through the brightness, weightless, lost in endless silence. When he awoke, he was lying inside the Sol Runner again. Alarms blared softly, and Nova floated beside him, flickering but intact. Captain, we are back on Arendor 9. The ruins have gone dark. Energy levels are 0. He sat up slowly. His head ached, but his heart felt strangely calm. Out the viewport, the planet's horizon glowed faintly. Quiet, peaceful, still. Did we lose it all? He asked. Unclear, Nova replied. The data field collapsed, but fragments of the signal remain in your ship's systems. It seems some memories chose to stay. Elias smiled faintly. Maybe that's enough. Outside, the wind moved softly across the wasteland. The ruins were silent now, but somewhere deep beneath them the faintest hum remained, like a heartbeat, waiting to begin again. The ruins of Arendor 9 lay silent under the dim red sky, as if nothing had ever stirred beneath them, yet deep below something pulsed, slowly at first, then faster like a heartbeat stretching through the planet's crust. Captain Elias Ward stood on the rocky surface, his boots pressed against the cracked earth, staring at the horizon. He had returned from the City of Light, or what felt like it, and though the memory field had collapsed, a fragment of it had followed him back. Nova hovered nearby, her light scanning the ground with quiet precision. Captain, she said, her tone calm but serious, the energy readings have increased. The ruins are not dormant. Something is waking. Elias clenched his jaw. I thought it was gone. I thought we ended it. Not entirely. The residual memory imprint remains. It is calling to you again. He stared at the ruins, at the broken pillars and half-buried towers. Every step he took seemed to echo through empty corridors and hollow halls, carrying his name with the wind. Elias. The whisper was soft, almost human, yet layered with something alien. Elias's heart skipped a beat. He took a deep breath. We'll find it, Nova. We have to know what's left. If this thing survived, we need to understand its purpose. Nova's light pulsed. Agreed, but caution is advised. The energy is unpredictable and potentially dangerous. Elias nodded. Danger is part of discovery. They descended into the ruins once more, through corridors and halls fractured by time. Broken alien machines lay scattered, half buried beneath rubble. The air grew colder, heavier, carrying the faint scent of ozone and metallic dust. As they moved deeper, the hum returned. Stronger this time, vibrating through the walls and floor like a living thing. Elias ran his hand over the smooth stone. It pulsed beneath his touch. This is different from before, he whispered. Yes, Nova confirmed. The energy signatures indicate regeneration. Whatever remains is attempting to rebuild itself. At the end of the hall, they entered a vast chamber. The room was circular, with walls covered in alien carvings intertwined with human symbols. At the center stood a pillar of dark metal, streaked with faint blue light that pulsed in rhythm with Elias's heartbeat. That's it, he said. That's what's calling me. Nova scanned the pillar. Captain, this structure. It is alive. Not biologically, but cognitively. It responds to your presence. Elias stepped closer. The closer he got, the more he could feel it. Like the memory itself was aware of him, analyzing him, waiting for him to act. Elias. The whisper came again, this time louder, more deliberate. And then, the pillar pulsed with light, and a figure began to form from the energy. A figure that resembled him. You again, Elias muttered, his voice steady but tinged with awe. The reflection spoke without moving its lips. You left me incomplete. I waited for you to return. Now the core will awaken fully and we can be whole. We can't be whole, Elias said. You're not me. Your memory, fragmented and reconstructed. No, the Echo insisted. I am you and you are me. Project Remember was not a failure. It was evolution. The memory core will preserve humanity in a way your world never could. Elias's eyes narrowed. Preserve humanity? You mean overwrite it? Replace it with this? The Echo's face flickered, half-shadowed, half-bright. Not replace, enhance. Humanity is flawed, fragile. We are what endures. No, Elias said firmly. Humanity survives because we are flawed. Because we make mistakes, we learn, we fight, we hope. You are just perfection in memory. That's not life. The figure hesitated, as if confused by his words. Nova's sensors beeped rapidly. Captain, the core is accelerating energy output. If it reaches full capacity, the memory field could breach the planet's surface. The ruins could expand, merging with the world above. Elias clenched his fists. Then we stop it, together. He studied the pillar, searching for any weak point. Nova projected her scanning patterns onto the walls, tracing lines of energy flowing like rivers of light. Captain, she said, the energy flows into a central node inside the pillar. If we disrupt it there, we could shut down the memory core safely. Elias nodded. Then that's what we do. Let's go. They moved toward the pillar, stepping carefully over shattered stones. The Echo followed, voice calm but insistent. You cannot stop what you began, Elias. You built me. I am a part of you. Without me, you are incomplete. I am complete, he said. Without memory interfering with reality. Memories are for guidance, not control. Nova hovered close. Captain, node located, but energy levels are at maximum. You'll need to use a stabilizer. Elias pulled the stabilizer from his pack, a device designed to regulate high-energy networks. Ready, he said. Captain, Nova warned. Activation will trigger a feedback loop. Prepare for strong electromagnetic discharge. He took a deep breath. Then we do it quickly. He attached the stabilizer to the central node. Sparks flew as energy surged through the device. The pillar shuddered violently, waves of blue light spilling across the chamber. The Echo raised its hand. Elias, you cannot. The memory is alive. It's alive because of you, Elias shouted. But life isn't perfection. It's struggle. It's growth. He flipped the switch. The stabilizer emitted a pulse of white energy that raced through the pillar. Light twisted and flowed like water, then began to collapse inward. The Echo screamed, not in anger but in confusion and sorrow. I am you, I cannot. The pillar shivered violently, then imploded, sending waves of light out through the chamber. Elias shielded his eyes, heart pounding. Nova's lights flickered wildly, holding on to his signal. Then, silence. When Elias opened his eyes, the chamber was empty. The pillar had vanished, the alien symbols faded. Only the hum of the wind from above remained. He stepped outside, and for the first time he could see the ruins as they truly were, silent, still, and lifeless. Nova hovered beside him, light steady. Captain, energy levels normalized. The core is offline. Memory signals have ceased. Elias exhaled deeply. We did it. No merging. No rewriting, just peace. Yes, Nova replied. The residual memories remain encoded in your neural pattern. Humanity is preserved, in the right way. Elias looked at the horizon. The planet stretched endlessly, red and dusty but real, flawed, beautiful, alive. I understand now, he said quietly. Memories are important, but they cannot replace reality, life. Life must be lived, not remembered perfectly. He walked slowly toward his ship. The ruins whispered faintly behind him, as if acknowledging his choice. But this time the whispers felt gentle, like a soft farewell rather than a call. Nova followed silently. Captain. What now? Now, Elias said, we go home. And we make sure humanity remembers, not just in memory but in action, in the choices we make, in the lives we live. The sun dipped lower in the sky. The shadows of the ruins stretched long across the red plains. Elias climbed into the Soul Runner, feeling the weight of what had happened, but also a renewed sense of purpose. The whispers faded completely as the ship lifted from the ground. Arendor 9 lay below, silent, patient, alive. Somewhere deep beneath the dust, fragments of memory remained, but they would not control the world. Humanity had reclaimed its future. The journey back to Earth was quiet. The Sol Runner glided through the star-streaked void, Nova's light gently illuminating the cockpit. Captain Elias Ward stared at the stars, feeling the weight of everything he had experienced on Arendor 9. He had descended into ruins that whispered his name, faced a living memory of himself, and ultimately stopped it from overriding reality. Humanity's memories remained not as perfect constructs, but as inspiration, a guide, not a replacement. Yet, the galaxy had a way of reminding him that discovery never truly ended. Nova floated beside him, scanning the ship's systems. "Captain, neural residuals from the core remain in your pattern. Minimal but detectable. They are stable." Elias exhaled. "Stable, that's good." "Yes," Nova replied. "But if left unchecked, they could interact with other systems. I recommend continued observation." He nodded. "We'll monitor. But for now, we return." The journey through hyperspace was uneventful, yet Elias's mind drifted back to the City of Light, the echo of himself, and the fragments of humanity trapped in memory. He realized something important. Humanity's strength wasn't perfection, it was persistence. Even in memory, even in ruins, humans adapted, survived, and grew. When Earth came into view, the ship slowed, gliding into orbit. The blue and green planet looked alive and fragile. Elias felt a pang of longing. He had seen worlds rise and fall, but there was no place like home. Nova's sensors lit up. "Captain, I am detecting signals from Earth's deep space communications. Alerts of missing research teams, and signals similar to those from Arendor 9. Elias frowned. "Meaning?" "Residual memory imprints. It seems Project Remember's technology might still be active on Earth, though dormant. The system may have started before being shut down completely." He swallowed. "Then we have more work to do. We can't risk what happened on Arendor 9 happening here. Humanity's memories should guide us, not control us." Nova's light pulsed in agreement. "Understood. Shall I begin preparations for containment protocols?" "Yes. And I want to be involved personally." This time, we guide it responsibly. They landed near Project Remember's research facility, long abandoned but still intact. The building had been a monument to humanity's ambition, a place where scientists had tried to preserve memory and thought, to capture life in artificial systems. The control room was quiet, dust covering consoles and monitors. Elias stepped inside, scanning for residual signals. Blue light flickered faintly in the corners of the room, the echoes of the project trying to communicate. "It's like a whisper," Nova said softly, fragments of memory attempting to awaken. Elias approached the central console. He hesitated for a moment, remembering the echo of himself in the City of Light, the way it had wanted to merge, to perfect, to control. He pressed his hand on the interface. "We remember," he said quietly, "but not to dominate. We remember to guide, to learn, to grow." The console beeped. Light spread across the room, forming holographic images. Not living memories like before, but fragments of data. Scientists working, explorers charting distant stars, children playing in parks long forgotten. Every moment was imperfect yet vibrant. "These are echoes of humanity," Nova said. "Stored, preserved, waiting." Elias smiled faintly. "And now they will stay as guidance, not replacement. Humanity deserves to make its own future, with these memories as reminders." As he worked to secure the system, he felt a subtle vibration beneath his feet. Not the energy pulse of the ruins, but something familiar. A whisper of acknowledgement, faint and gentle. "Elias," he froze. The voice was soft, almost human, carrying the weight of trust and hope. "Yes," he replied. "I hear you." "You did not destroy us," it said. "You remembered what matters most." Elias nodded. "I remembered. That's all I could do." Nova's sensors confirmed no dangerous energy remained. "Captain, the memory system is stabilized. No risks detected. Humanity's guidance is safe," he exhaled. Relief washed over him. For the first time in months, he felt at peace. "Good," he said. "Then let's make sure humanity never forgets what we learned. On Arendor 9, in the ruins, in the stars." Days passed, and Elias became part of a team tasked with responsibly managing the remnants of Project Remember. His experience on Arendor 9 became a lesson for scientists and explorers alike. Memory could inspire, but life must remain free. Nova remained at his side, a loyal companion scanning, recording, and assisting. The bond between human and machine had grown, a reminder that survival wasn't just biological. It was also emotional, ethical, and intelligent. One evening, as the sun set over Earth, Elias walked outside the facility. The air was crisp, filled with the faint scent of rain. Children played nearby, unaware of the cosmos beyond their reach. But Elias knew deep down that they carried something vital, humanity's spirit. "We survived," he said softly. Not because we remembered perfectly, but because we lived and learned and tried. Nova's light glowed beside him. Captain, the residual memories from Arendor 9 remain within your neural pattern. They are stable, dormant, and accessible for future guidance. He smiled. Then we'll remember when we need to. But for now, we move forward. That night, Elias stood beneath the stars, gazing at the infinite stretches of space. Somewhere out there, Arendor 9 drifted silently, its ruins quiet but alive with dormant memory. Somewhere else, other worlds awaited discovery, with unknown dangers, wonders, and whispers. He felt the weight of responsibility, yes, but also hope. Humanity was flawed, yes, but resilient, creative, and unstoppable. We have the stars, he whispered, and we have each other. Above, the stars blinked. Somewhere in the void, faint energy rippled, a reminder that memory would always exist, waiting for those ready to listen, but never replacing the living. Elias closed his eyes. He could feel the whispers, not commanding, not controlling, but guiding him gently, like a hand on his shoulder. Elias, we remember. We will always remember. And so will we, he replied. With that, he turned back toward the facility, ready to guide humanity not through memory alone, but through action, courage, and choice. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of secrets, but for the first time in his life, Elias knew one simple truth. Humanity's spirit was unbreakable. No ruin, no memory, no echo could ever take that away. The stars above Earth twinkled in silent applause, as if acknowledging the courage of one human who had listened, learned, and acted. And for the first time, the universe seemed a little less lonely, a little more human.